Very nice day today.
It is.
Makes a change.
Apparently, it's getting up to like 18 and 20 degrees in the evening.
Whoa, that's like moderate temperatures. You could
That's
sit
like-
comfortably in a shorts and t-shirt in that weather.
Yeah, I just did that anyway. Might as well.
Yeah, but your body doesn't respond to cold or temperature. You're basically a warm iceberg.
Do you mean water?
No, you're still slower.
Sorry.
Captain, warm iceberg ahead. For fuck's sake, Johnson. This is.
It's called the sea, Johnson.
Do you reckon, like, when people were at sea on, like, big ocean liners and they, like, ran out of... If they ever, like, ran out of water for, say, ice cubes, that they'd get it from the sea and freeze the seawater so you just had salty ice cubes?
When you do that, you put that and you just put, like, a tequila or something. I don't know.
Actually, I don't
wonder if
know
that
if you can freeze... it must be... no, you can freeze salt. Can you freeze
You
salt?
can. Yes. It just takes a lot more effort.
Yeah. Because the
You can't
salt...
really give it to
Yeah, because salt melts ice.
Exactly. Is it stuck in a paradox where it's constantly melting but freezing?
Aren't you supposed to boil seawater?
Yeah.
Well, yes, because you
'cause you
have
get
to
the salt
boil
out
it
of it.
and then strain it so that the salt ions and stuff can be separated from it.
What are we on
Just the
about?
merits of freezing seawater.
Marital lifestyles. No,
Warm
marinol,
icebergs.
even.
Marital
say-
lifestyles.
Which one of us has experience with the first?
My marital lifestyle extends to warm icebergs and freezing the sea.
Now that we've sorted that out, we can actually intro. Any volunteers?
Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Fact Vs Fiction. Don't know why I picked that voice. Anyway, this is the special episode. I don't think we've got really a proper name for it, do we yet?
The monthly
Nah.
specials. The no holds bards free choice challenge.
All
Tom
bets
Royal's
are off.
podcast Rumble.
The Royal
Battle Royale.
Yeah,
I just put question marks around it.
That's
Fact?
a match of
Fiction?
yeah.
Confusion intensifies.
Anyway, this is when we just basically talk about what we want to talk about, and there's no real lines between anything. I could talk about some nonsense. The Toms could talk about actual factual stuff. It doesn't matter. Like, it's gone to hell.
There's no rhyme, no
She
reason.
took everything in the divorce. So,
Even the dog.
Fact and the fiction.
But at least she didn't
That
take
was
the
kids in the
podcast.
house.
Everything. She took the house, the dog, the air.
But at least she left me with this microphone.
No wire and electricity though.
Unfortunately,
She
can't
left
hear,
me with the
can't hear
laptop,
it.
but no charger.
God. I've got that on my shaver at the moment. On my electric shaver, I've lost the charger to it, so it's just like a matter of weeks before I have to go caveman until I find the charger. It's like I'm
Your
using up the
beard and
last
hair
of
are
a
currently the
resource.
same length, so...
Yeah, they are.
Which grows faster? Are they going to go at the same time? And he's just going to become a giant hairy ball.
Hair
Like
grows
Uncle
faster.
Fester.
Don't know why.
It's
Uncle Fester, the one with all the hair?
No, he's got none of the hair.
Which,
He's got the
which one's-
reverse. He's got
Which one's got
Cousin
all
It
the
is the
hair
one with
from
all
the
the
Addams
hair.
family?
Cousin It.
Okay. I haven't actually watched it, I just
And-
know the references.
I think Cousin It has a son called Cousin That or something.
Yeah.
well, that's
Anyway, are we?
more than I ever
Anyway,
knew
that's
about the
miscellaneous Addams Family trivia that is half remembered.
Oh,
Who are
Anyway,
we?
as
Who
usual,
are we, boys?
Anyway, as usual, I'm John, and I remain John for the course of this podcast. We also have Corby.
Yeah, I was going to say he remains John until he needs to change his name
does he,
for
just,
undisclosed
I have
reasons.
so many nicknames.
does he
Let's not go
change
into-
out of John when we're not recording?
I
Change
mean,
out
we
of
don't
John
know what-
makes it sound like he's wearing his current skin as a flesh
We don't
suit.
know what happens when the camera goes off. For all we know, the carrion that's hiding inside his armor resumes control.
Yeah.
Don't know why I chose that demon.
Anyway, but that is Corby.
There was no denial.
He's a skin parasite.
Change the subject. Anyway, I've got too many cuts on my hands for it to be a skin parasite, really, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Anyway, we've got Corby. We've got Tom.
Hello, I am Tom, and I may or may not remain Tom for the duration of this podcast.
Oh,
You're gonna
danger.
flip it. You're gonna start fading out.
Con saves, rest the thing until it just turns into something else.
Oh man, I'm Barry.
Oh, crap.
Even Barry is disappointed to be Barry.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Barry's
Barry's.
catchphrase. Oh man, I'm Barry.
Anyway. And we also have Matt.
I'm
faceless
here.
wonder.
I say stuff and then I regret it.
From the hole he cometh.
No.
That was the one thing he didn't say. That's lucky.
Oh god.
But yes. So, no one's barred this time around. Are we doing hypothetical for these?
I can't remember. I don't have.
I don't know. I'd still need to.
There are no
what was
rules.
The last?
There are no rules, so there's no hypothetical.
Hypothetically, if there were no rules.
Thank you. I was just going to say thank you, Microsoft Alert, for that little pop-up, which will definitely be picked up by the recording.
Oh, Jesus.
For those of you that
It's just a paperclip. It appears you're trying to record a podcast.
Fuck off, Sam, or whatever it was called.
Clippy.
It had a name.
It did have a
yeah.
name, yeah.
MS. Yeah. What was the?
I
Okay,
saw
there's
as
a
Clippy,
hypothetical.
the paperclip.
What did y'all call the Microsoft paperclip other than cunt?
I believe what I called it was, oh, fuck's sake, go away.
I generally thought its name was Clippy.
I'm
Hold on, let
pretty
me-
sure you're
let me
right,
ask
John.
Google.
I think
I
I
don't
turned
think
it off
it's Sam.
like immediately. Like I never encountered it. In the wild. Only in controlled environments like memes.
Yeah. It's Absolute
Okay,
destroyer of worlds and microchips.
Clippy was its nickname.
Nickname?
What was
Its
its real
given name was Clippit.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
Clippit.
Hello, I'm
Clippit.
Clippit, but my friends call me Clippy.
Clip it,
Fuck
Clip it is the bit on Bop It that they removed because of injuries.
Clippit.
Ah, my skin! Oh, Jesus.
What was Microsoft Sam then?
Good question.
Isn't that just the voice thing?
Yeah, that's the text-to-speech thing.
Yeah.
MS Sam's the text-to-speech device. That's
Well,
why I
you
know
know.
MS Sam from.
Well, now that we've established why we do and don't like the paperclip, Tom, I believe you've
Yeah,
drawn
you're
the
racist.
short straw of going first.
Well, I believe I have too. And I've got a fair bit to get through, so I'm just going to dive right into it.
Okay, good. All right.
I'm doing
Buckle up, bitches.
a history of a band. This band began in 1996 and originally consisted of John Marshall on vocals, Richard Roy on bass, Steve Jocks on drums, and Derek Whibley on lead guitar.
Wait a minute.
I
Can you just
say-
rewind? John Marshall, the guy from Red Dead Redemption.
I think that's Marston.
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 Oh,
On the
God.
plus side, we've only got
Could have been.
24 years of history to get through. It'll be all right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I immediately imagine the third guy as just a big jock.
They call me Jock.
Steve Jock.
He's a
He
jock.
actually has a
wearing jock.
nickname, Steve-O32.
Oh dear.
I don't know why that's his nickname, but it is.
The number
I say
Was that his
original
age?
lineup
Is
because
that one of the Steve-O clones that escaped Jackass? There's no way any man could survive all that.
We need another Steve-O clone. We've wasted 4 throwing them against this barn wall.
oh.
Yeah.
So that was the original lineup, and the original name was Casper, spelt Kaspir. However,
Okay.
both the lineup and the name changed very quickly in the same year that they formed.
I feel.
On September 28th, 1996, the band were playing a show, and it was the 41st day of their summer vacation. Based on that, the band renamed themselves to Sum 41.
Oh my god, he's Superman!
Oh, shit. I wasn't expecting
Look
this.
at him! He's marrying Avril Lavigne as we speak!
Oh.
That could be either some 41 or Nickelback. We don't know.
I don't care.
Exactly.
I'm actually glad that I got to go first because I was wearing that hoodie specifically to reveal the Sum 41 t-shirt underneath,
You're just in glaring
and it is a very
sunshine.
hot day.
It's
I was
mildly
gonna say
warm day.
it's the first time we've seen the sun in like
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
week and a half,
Yeah.
2 weeks around. We don't see it very often in the UK.
No,
Yeah.
son. Sorry.
Early on, John Marshall left the band after the producer suggested that Derek do vocals instead, and the guitar spot went to Dave Baksh. Richard Roy, the bassist, also left the band after they were involved in a car accident, which Wikipedia calls near fatal.
I mean, I guess that means he was fairly injured.
Yeah, I tried to find more information about the car accident, but there didn't seem to be much.
It
Not
didn't
to,
Other than
not
it
to be like
happened.
that guy, but what is it with bass players and getting into vehicle accidents?
That is
Like,
so
When
common.
you say he left the band, did he like leave it voluntarily or through the windscreen?
I tried to find out, I could not find the answer.
fucking hell, dude!
Sorry.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but Jesus Christ.
So bad.
So, Richard Roy left, and Derek Whibley's high school friend Jason Cone McCaslin stepped in as the new bassist.
Owen
Jason's
McCaslin.
nickname is Cone, and I will tell you why. At high school, Whibley gave him the nickname because apparently he always ate ice cream cones at lunch when they were at school together.
That is
Hey,
far
it's
less-
Cone.
yeah.
Oh.
Enough to get that to be his nickname, which you have to imagine is a lot.
He
I
must
was
have
gonna
done
say,
it every
yeah.
day. Like I was
Yeah.
expecting he'd done something with a code, like a traffic code, is like a classic thing.
Just an ice cream fiend.
I
Did
mean,
he eat it
you
from
know-
the bottom up or the top down? Did he eat it with ice cream, without ice cream?
I'm gonna say,
In
like,
one
if he eats it from the
bowl.
bottom down, he is actually a heretic.
Just
It's very difficult to eat an ice cream from the bottom down because it falls out then.
No, you bite the bottom off and suck it out.
Are we learning of heresy among us?
Absolutely, send Conrad.
So that left the band's lineup to be Derek on vocals, Cone on bass, Dave on guitar, and Steve on drums. And that was
Cool.
the classic lineup, which they would maintain for the first half of their career.
Fucking Cohen on guitar is a great sentence.
Just stick a cone that does like. It's levitates, but
I would love if anyone with like impressive Photoshop skills could get a picture of the band performing and like edit out Cone and put a traffic cone where he should be.
I do feel bad for like when they first were swapping out people and the producer said maybe the other guy should try vocals because how bad are you in that case?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe you're not bad. Maybe the other guy's just better.
yeah,
I
you
feel
sort
like
of
that-
feel bad about it, don't you?
Tom, you'll know this possibly. Didn't that happen to Fall Out Boy as well? Where Patrick Stump turned up for auditions and they heard him sing and they're like, no, we want you to sing instead.
I believe he turned up to audition for guitar, but then they heard him sing and they wanted him to be. Although, as far as I'm aware, Fall Out Boy's lineup has been the same four guys since its formation.
Forever.
Pretty much, yeah.
Since
Yeah.
the dawn of Wednesday.
So, the first release of Sum 41 was in 2000. It was an EP called Half Hour of Power, which contained basically studio recordings of their set lists that they would play whenever they performed live.
Yeah.
Very simple, and that's what they sent out to record producers and record labels. Forgot what the term for record labels was for a second there.
Put it on
This,
Spotify.
Half Hour of Power has been described as the following genres:
Shit.
Oh no.
punk, pop punk, heavy metal, ska, and hip hop.
Oh,
Yes, one of the songs has a ska breakdown in it.
oh my god.
I
wanna
need to
hear
I
that.
need to look this up now.
You say it was
I don't
called
think
half,
I've heard
you
that.
say it was called
Say
half
it's
an hour of power.
It's a melting pot of genres. It's called Half Hour of Power.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
That feels like we're not sure what we're gonna do, so we'll just fire in any direction. Anything that lands, we'll stick with that.
I mean, that's what most bands do.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I can't blame them for it.
And it worked for them.
It sounds like a marketing scheme for a bad electric car. You get half an hour of power.
It's just enough to get you to Tesco, but not back.
Not back.
Skoda, some 41.
How far is your Tesco? Jesus.
You can't turn the car off, John, and the battery dies. You've got to keep it running.
Just run to the shit. And just break bananas off fair trade. Shit.
Doesn't matter. Just grab him.
When he says the electric car, it actually runs off double A's. That's why it only lasts half an hour.
He's trying to modify it so it fits the big D batteries in.
Not the 9 volts.
I don't know.
While Half Hour of Power was successful, it was nothing compared to what was about to happen for the band. On May 8th, 2001, Sum 41 released their next album, All Killer, No Filler. This was insanely successful, charting at number 13 on the Billboard 200, its lead single, Fat Lip, peaking at number 1 on the Billboard charts. It was released in May, and by August, it was certified platinum.
What year was this?
2001. Fat Lip and In Too Deep, the two main singles from the album, and arguably the band's best-known songs still to this day, were both featured in the movie American Pie 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that probably launched the movie up to fame.
Cementing those songs and the band as staples of pop culture in the early 2000s. The song What We're All About from Half Hour of Power was also featured in a movie. It is the second song in the end credits of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but can also be heard in the movie playing on Uncle Ben's car radio right before he drops Peter off at the library and gives him the iconic responsibility pep talk.
Oh, wow.
Uncle Ben, Sum 41 fan.
Who knew?
Hashtag confirmed.
Peter, remember these words. I don't want to fall in line, become another casualty of society.
He did, though. That's exactly what happened to him.
Oh. The band's success continued through 2002 when they released their next album, Does This Look Infected? Speaking about this album, Wibbly said, "We don't want to make another record that sounds like the last record. I hate when bands repeat albums." An attitude that the band has maintained throughout their career. Despite the success and legacy of All Killer No Filler, cementing them and pigeonholing them as a pop-punk band, they've always had the attitude that they don't play too much into a specific genre. They just make whatever music they want to make at the time.
I respect that. That's a nice
It's
way
like,
to
it's,
approach it.
it's like a download. They played a lot of like metal covers and stuff. Which
Yeah,
is really
you can
good.
hear it as you listen to each album progressively. They get a more and more metal-inclined sound. And they've always been inspired by metal bands like Iron Maiden. In fact, Does This Look Infected has 2 bonus tracks where Steve Jocks takes vocals, and they're straight-up classic-sounding heavy metal songs.
Nice.
I think that was the one album of theirs I owned. I think.
Yeah.
I'm consulting the coffin and I can't tell from here.
Don't worry about the coffin.
Which
Good one.
albums did I buy?
Which albums are in the coffin?
Let me just go dig it up so I can have a look.
It's on the wall. It's not that bad. It's a display piece.
I've never noticed it actually. I've been here multiple times. I've never seen the coffin. I know it's there, but I think I've blanked out.
Most people do.
Yeah.
They look at it and just like,
I'm going to ignore that. If I get got by vampires, it's my fault.
It's a very small vampire.
considering most 2/3 of the coffin's full of CDs. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
In 2004, the band went through a very intense situation. They paired with a charity organization called War Child to make a documentary in the Democratic Republic of Congo about the impact of the country's civil war. They stayed in a hotel near, I believe I'm pronouncing this right, Bukavu, or Bukavu,
I think
whilst
Bukavu,
filming.
yeah.
However, things took a turn on the night of the 6th day. They began to hear gunfire breaking out, and the situation quickly escalated to a large-scale conflict. They spent the entirety of their 7th day holed up in the hotel as the fighting continued, and on the 8th day they were evacuated along with the other hotel residents. The main person in charge of the evacuation was a UN peacekeeper named Charles Chuck Pelletier. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm going to go with it. But Sum 41 named their next album Chuck in honor of this man, and it was released on October 12th, 2004. Again, another commercial and critical success. This album...
I had a great image as you were describing that as they're in the hotel. He waves and says, that sounds like gunfire. One of them just opens the window and goes, yeah, I'm staying indoors today.
Yeah, there is actually, you can watch the documentary they made, which includes all this. And I watched it last night, and it is pretty intense. Because, like, there's bits where they're saying, when they're looking back on it, they're like, they genuinely thought, this is it. This is how we're going to die.
Like, how close to the hotel was the fighting?
It was like right outside,
Shit.
like right in the next
In
town.
the car park.
Yeah, and there was like
In the lobby.
shrapnel going off, and
Do
like
you say right in the next town? So was it slightly outside of town?
I believe the hotel was slightly outside of the town, but it was still very close to them.
Stuff like drive past them and whatnot. Like, because if obviously I'm imagining.
Yeah, and they could like feel the impact through the ground when like shrapnel was going off.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that definitely fed into a lot of the material for the songs on Chuck, which are all about disrest in the world and sort of war and unpleasant situations. A more mature theme than their earlier albums, which focused more on relationships and growing up.
Yeah, a lot of bands don't do that so much, I find, or at least not either. I think Rise Against is the only other one that really springs to mind.
They've sort of always been that way.
And Billy Talent,
Well,
they also do that sort of thing.
Yeah, and Billy Talent as well.
Yeah.
It's ironically the only two bands I still listen to from my teenage days: Rise Against and Billy Talent.
Well, considering my teenage days started with Dragon Force, like I haven't really changed direction.
I mean, where do you go from there?
You just you go to better things.
Oh, dear.
Dragon Force are fine. I don't listen to them that much. I know.
But I do skip over through the Fire and the Flames every time.
I don't mind it.
That's actually the one that I listened to all the way through, mostly, because it's the first one I heard, so I have like a soft spot for it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think there are actually better.
Because I think I typed Dragon into the iTunes search bar and that came up. And I was like, let's give this a go.
I have PTSD. from Guitar Hero.
Yeah, trying to bloody play it in the closing credits.
2 years after the release of Chuck, guitarist Dave Baksh left the band to pursue his own band called Brown Brigade, which had a more classical metal sound than Sum 41 did. He was replaced with a guitarist named Tom Thacker, who was originally only a touring guitarist, but was eventually promoted to official member.
You fucker.
While Sum 41 stayed active after Dave's departure, it's safe to say their next two records didn't quite have the same impact as the ones they'd been putting out until then.
Didn't have the punch.
Yeah. Underclass Hero was a commercial sex...
Commercial
Let me say that again.
Well,
it's what people put on for their orgies.
It was a... Underclass Hero was a commercial success, but received mixed reviews, and is often ranked lowest on fan ratings of favourite Sum 41 albums. But a fun piece of trivia about this album is the first song they released was called March of the Dogs, which is a song heavily critical of the Bush administration. The song opens with the line, "Ladies and gentlemen of the underclass, the President of the United States of America is dead." And later in the bridge features the line, another president's dead because they blew off his head. Derek Whibley was threatened with deportation for this song because he metaphorically killed the president in it.
God.
Where's Derek Whibley from?
Canada.
Oh. That's so much less of a threat.
Country.
The band are Canadian.
They're like
they're
across
actually
the world.
Yes.
I just kind of assumed they were American.
They're from they're from Ajax in Canada. As well as being accused of metaphorical treason, Whibley also went through a divorce in the later years.
From America. He got deported.
Well, if it's metaphorical treason, you just argue for metaphorical punishment.
Can I be metaphorically deported?
Yeah.
You can't be arrested for metaphorically doing so.
I thought Americans were
no,
about free
the metaphorical police have come for me.
No. Do they or don't they exist? Who knows?
Oh no, not the metaphors. Oh no.
I was going to say,
Hey.
we said Matt, we said metaphorical police.
Congratulations,
Schrodinger
John. That's the
police.
best joke we've ever had on the podcast.
It really is.
I almost say it was meta.
Hey.
No.
So yeah, as well as that, Whibley had been in a relationship with fellow musician Avril Lavigne. They had been engaged and married, but the relationship did not last. They divorced, and shortly after, the band went into production on their next album, Screaming Bloody Murder, an album which again received mixed reviews. During the production of this album, Whibley took really leaned hard into the stereotypical rock star lifestyle, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Unfortunately, this left him dealing with serious health issues, and he suffered liver and kidney failure due to his excessive drinking.
Right.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Like, did he lean in hard like after the divorce? Did he just essentially go balls to the wall?
Pretty much. There's a
Quite literally in some
documentary on the making of the album, which they made while they were doing it, and it seems like that is what's going on.
He didn't take it well then.
No. And after 2011, the band somewhat faded into an unofficial hiatus. They weren't necessarily on hiatus or broken up, they just weren't touring or releasing anything. Drummer Steve Jocks left in 2013 to pursue a career in real estate.
That is a
hard transition.
That is a hard left turn.
You know what I want to do?
Music's great and all, but have you ever
Redo houses.
However, this was not the end for the band. In 2015, Derek was released from a rehabilitation center and became teetotal, no longer drinking, taking drugs, smoking, or anything. And he has stayed that way since. The band performed a reunion show at the 2015 Alternative Press Awards, where they introduced new drummer Frank Zumo, and they also introduced, as a surprise guest, Dave Baksh, returning to the band.
I thought you could say returning from the dead.
Dave Baksh is back. Exactly. This surprise return also made the band a 5-piece for the first time, with 3 guitars in the band.
They've gone classic metal setup then.
Exactly. Dave on lead, Tom on rhythm, and Derek also played additional guitar parts. With this new formation of the band and the return of Baksh's heavy metal influences, Sum 41 came back with a bang in 2016 when they released 13 Voices, their first album to reach higher than All Killer No Filler on charts.
We saw them 2017, right?
We did. That's actually my next line.
Nice.
Yeah. From there, they toured like crazy across the world, including at Download Festival 2017, where John and I saw them headline the Avalanche stage. Last year, in 2019, at the time of recording, they released Order in Decline, another very metal-influenced album and another hit for the band. And in 2021, they are slated to headline Slam Dunk Festival.
Wow.
So that is a brief history of Sum 41.
That actually makes Slam Dunk Festival good now. Anyway.
Oh, very nice.
Interesting.
I do want to say, I feel like it's good to see a pop punk band go the opposite way, as opposed to most of them going into pop music.
Yeah,
like Fall Out Boy went more into pop music, and actually, Derek Whibley said about 13 Voices when they were releasing it. Some producer or musical person said that rock songs weren't going to play as well on radio, and he said, "I don't care. We want to make a rock album." So
Unsainted was the #1 album that released a while back. They beat that ginger twat.
And that is the inspiration behind the song on 13 Voices called God Save Us All, Death to Pop.
I think I'm actually making a flaw for said ginger twat, actually.
Oh, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Just to clarify for anyone listening.
No, wait, it was We Are Not Your Kind. That was the name of the album by Slipknot.
I get what they mean, because
they topped the album releases. They beat him.
I get what they mean, though.
As much as I'm not a fan of Slipknot, I can appreciate that. You know, they're still going strong and producing good stuff.
We Are Not Your Kind.
We need to bring more like rock and metal into the mainstream, because like places like Radio 1 stuff, they just don't play it. They just don't unless like people request.
Play the same 8 songs on a loop or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I'm not allowed to say. I'm just looking back at
Radio 1 has a gun to my head.
So, Tom, can I just clarify? Was the album Half an Hour of Power?
Half Hour of Power, yes.
Half Hour of Power, because I realized
the cover is a guy with a Nerf gun with an explosion behind him.
Nice.
It's fairly distinct.
I realized as I was writing it down, because I made that electric car joke, I'd actually written down Half an Hour of Tesla, and I'm like...
Disclaimer, that's not what we're getting this episode.
I also want to say just one small fact. Their comeback tour was called Don't Call It a Sumback.
Hey.
But tisk.
And everyone thought, shit, that's good, we're going to use that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know that had to have been made on the first day of the tour, and it was like, well, fuck, now we can't do that, so we're just gonna call it Don't Call It That. Make it sound like we actually know what we're on about. Like us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
We know what we're on about all the time, every time,
All the
no
time.
exceptions.
all the time.
Don't we, Matthew?
I do all the time. Now, Tom, you mentioned something about vampires during your little spiel, which brings me nicely onto my topic. How do you guys feel about vampires?
Ambivalent.
I like them. I actually
I almost
finished
said
reading,
incandescent, and I
Bram
realised that's
Stoker's
not
Dracula.
the term.
What? You're incandescent.
You said, how do you feel about them? And then I was like, incandescent. No way, that's not the right word.
You're incandescent with
The vampires, obviously.
he's just vampires are spilling out of him. He's unable to retain the vampires.
I mean, I am the one with the coffin.
Very true. Very true. Well, as teased last episode, I'm here to bring you some true crime.
Oh, vampire true crime.
Vampire true crime. Do 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 do. Insert.
I thought John was doing the... I forget what song it is, but it's like... Da na 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 na.
No, I'm not. I know the one you mean, but I'm not doing that.
I am going to take the three of you on a journey to the gloriously terrible nation of Austro-Hungary.
Oh no.
Oh.
So, as we all know, Eastern Europe is renowned for folklore, especially
Being a clusterfuck.
And
being
instability.
a powder keg, instability, general terror and unrest, and also vampires.
Yes.
They've been around in
That's Austria.
they've been around in Eastern European
That's
history.
why the
for-
Habsburgs lived so long.
What?
He
That's
said,
why the Habsburgs lived
Yeah,
so long.
They're vampires, obviously. God, Tom, spoiler.
God, can you imagine inbred vampires? You can't even bite someone because your jaw doesn't work well enough.
Suck your blood, but my
Jesus.
fangs, they are blunt.
I
Can't
think you might
bite,
just
I've got
be actually a
lockjaw
regular man.
permanently.
Yeah. I'm a regular man.
Oh,
Oh. But yeah, vampires have been in Eastern European folklore for just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, well before Vlad Tepes and that whole thing, which, as we know, is the origin for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
yep.
But basically, that's kind of almost the origin point of vampires was Eastern Europe, and it's spread all the way to USA and to China. And they're just massively ingrained in culture. But we know they're not real. Right.
No.
Our story begins in the late 1800s, where Janos and Verona Kiss gave birth to a healthy young boy named Bela. Not much is known about, I think it's Bela, or Bela. I'm going to go with Bela, that sounds better.
Is it B-E-L-L-A? As
It's
how you would spell a
B with
woman's
an
name? Or...
accent, L-A, so I think it's Bela.
Could be Baya if it's a
Baya,
Spanish.
I
or
mean,
maybe
it's not Spanish,
pronunciation.
because we're in
They-
Eastern Europe.
They pronounce the L's in Eastern Europe.
Not much is known
Bela.
about Bela's early life. Record keeping not really being a major thing at the time, especially in the Balkans area and that kind of zone. But he suddenly pops back into reality around 1900, which I now realise makes it sound like he phased
He went
out
outside of reality
like
for a
20
bit.
years.
Wake me when my planet needs me.
Oh,
Bea is recorded as living in the town of Cinkota, which is near Budapest, and is actually now one of the it's kind of joined in and merged as one of the outlying villages, but they're joined up together and they're basically the same place. It's like one of the suburbs.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Described as tall, blonde, and handsome, the 23-year-old Bela was an eligible bachelor.
I hate him.
His neighbours felt he was friendly but quiet. That being said, he would often throw lavish house parties, inviting neighbours round for dinners, as a single gentleman would at that point.
All right.
Often at these dinners, he would regale his guests with his knowledge of amateur astrology, and he was allegedly involved in
Look at that! It's a star!
I just
Like
realised.
very amateur astrology.
I just realised.
And I was like, oh yes, that is correct. Well
That is
done.
indeed the moon.
I should have phrased that better. He was an amateur astrologer. He didn't. He was. Fuck. I just realised that I basically linked back to my previous episode, because part of the reason I'm doing this is because I heard about it when I was researching for last week's episode about World War One. But also Spencer Simpson was an amateur astrologist as well.
All right.
Oh god. But yeah, as well as being an amateur astrologist, he was allegedly into the occult. By 1912, so we're jump cutting 12 years. Baylor had been married twice. He had had 2 children. However, he had been divorced as well from both his wives. It seems that he didn't get on very well with his first wife, and his second wife was discovered having an affair with a local artist.
Was divorce normal around this time, or?
Yeah, it'd been semi-normalized. I think if you had a justified reason.
I was going to say because
Henry VIII has been and gone by now.
I think you're fine if you're the guy. For the woman, it's not good.
I was going to say because I know in like some of the Protestant countries it was normalish, but where you're describing, they weren't Protestant.
Oh, no, they were like a mix of Orthodoxy, Catholicism, and
little hints of Muslim sometimes.
Yeah, they had hints of Islam as well.
I'm going to say because the Ottomans weren't far off.
Yeah. But Baylor's wife, her second wife, had had an affair with an artist, and after divorce, she and her husband went off to America, basically. And so Baylor settled down to single life, living with his elderly housekeeper to help him with all his wild bachelorette stuff. This housekeeper was very old. He wasn't banging his housekeeper, I will clarify that now.
I was about to say, was this housekeeper a man or a woman?
It was a woman.
You didn't specify that.
It was Mrs. Doubtfire.
It was a trap.
A very old trap. During this time, Baylor started gathering various oddities and whatnot in the house. He expanded his library, and he also started stockpiling gasoline. When his neighbors asked him about it, it's like, war's coming, they're going to need gasoline, I can sell this for more money, kind of thing.
I mean, to be fair, he wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong. As 1914, World War One was the big kickstart of technology and warfare. Jump cutting to 1914, when World War One broke out, Baylor was conscripted and sent to fight.
I think I know of this.
This next section, pickling the police.
Yeah.
Excuse
In 1916,
I know this guy.
pickling the police.
Pickling?
It'll make sense.
As in putting the police in a jar of brine and letting them
Two
soak.
meanings. Two meanings. In 1916, what the fuck does that say?
Use a Word document, damn it!
Didn't say that he put the police in a jar of brine.
What the fuck does that say?
Just cut this
I see. Okay, yeah.
Use a Word document.
1916 rolled around, and needless to say, the war was not going well for Austro-Hungary. Yeah, they were just not good in the war at anything.
And being shot to death by the Russians at the time, I
They'd
believe.
been shot to death by the Russians and the Italians and the Serbians. So they needed everything, basically, to keep their army going. Food, equipment, clothes. And oddly enough, gasoline. Who would have guessed? Patrols were regularly sent out in and around towns, villages, and outskirts of cities looking to round up supplies. And wouldn't you know it, Bella had a bunch of gasoline tanks just sat in his backyard.
Yeah, I know this guy. I won't interrupt.
So, his landlord knew an opportunity when he saw one and promptly went round to have a look at them, check everything was hunky-dory and they actually had gasoline in them. And he took off the pot bung, and there was gasoline. There was also the stench of death, which I don't know how you determine from gasoline, because gasoline is strong.
It's a very powerful smell.
Very powerful.
Y'all are underestimating how bad dead people smell.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.
Clearly. The order went out to get the police. Enter our would-be hero, Detective Chief Nagy. Nagy? Yeah. N-A-G-Y.
Nagy!
Nagy?
Nagy-kun!
God damn it.
Nagy and his team tore open the barrels and discovered the floating, pickled in the gasoline, was the body of Bella's second wife. She'd never left.
Never made it to America anyway.
No, she didn't make it to America. Neither did her lover, as found strangled in the barrel next to her was indeed him. Proceeding to open all the barrels and do a ransacking of Bella's house, they found a total of 24 bodies, all strangled and drained of blood.
Bum, 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 bum.
Indeed.
Rough
Dramatic.
day at the office.
I'll say.
Yeah, that's 1 an hour. That's not good.
Indeed, all the bodies had classic puncture marks on the side of their necks, and just immediately Nagy arrested the housekeeper. Suspicion of collusion, not murder. He didn't just round on the housekeeper.
Yeah, I like to think like, the owner of this house is gone. Housekeeper, you did this.
Upon arrest, the poor old woman spilled everything she did know, which wasn't a lot. Since 1912, Baylor had invited a string of young women round to the house. The housekeeper was never allowed to speak to these women, nor was she allowed to enter the secret room Bella went into with them. These women never came out the secret room, but she never questioned it. She was also not allowed to go near the gasoline barrels that were then building up in the backyard.
This feels like if you like produces some sort of like Dungeons and Dragons plot to a player, they go, yeah, this is sus as hell, but everyone else is just like, that's fine.
What are you talking
Very
about?
willful.
It's always been like this.
Or is she just rolling really low on insight checks?
Poor perception, poor insight, poor investigation.
Just a lack of wisdom in general.
Well, Nagy and his team went into the secret room, and inside they found a fairly simple study, which was quickly revealed to have a desk in which was held letters of correspondence to over 74 women. There were also books on poison and strangulation, photo albums, and lots of trophies. As in trophies of his victims, not, you know.
I was going to
trophies
say,
of strangulation.
trophies as
Those
in
were
like
also of the victims, not just
trophy mementos of the
holiday
folks
in
he's killed.
Venice.
Not best in show, not third place at sports day.
1908 Best Strangler. Yeah.
The You Tried award.
Cycling proficiency.
Participation ribbons galore.
Oh. Well, looking at the letters revealed the scope of Baylor's crimes. Since at least 1903, Baylor Kiss had been using the Lonely Hearts advertisements to bring women back to his house. Here he strangled them to death and then performed possible occult rituals and presumably drank their blood before pickling them in gasoline.
Did you say his last name was Kiss?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, yeah. They probably
KYUSS.
should have figured this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This led
How
to
you
his moniker, the Lonely Hearts Vampire or the Austro-Hungarian Vampire. And many people have been running around going, oh, he gave them the kiss of death. So his
Wait.
name works on two levels there.
A
Kiss of death.
The woman
Just the strap.
give you the kiss of death with my hands.
more the hands of death, isn't it?
I think it's more of a reference to the the blood sucking.
I'd like to
The
imagine him
handshake of regret.
explaining that to the victim. As you see, it's somewhat of a misnomer.
That's like actually a serial killer thing, though. There was like, oh, you're that serial killer as they're killing them, and there's like, nah, that's not the reason. That's just like a name I got. They're completely off base with how I do this.
It's the media's nickname for him usually.
Yeah.
But this was like the local names running around. Those women who were smart enough or just lucky enough not to be chosen to be invited over or not coming over at all were still defrauded of money because Baylor liked to pretend to be a matrimonial agent and a fortune teller and would defraud wealthy widows of their money and then never advise them.
I meant to ask, how are you spelling kiss?
Just literally how it sounds.
Kiss.
If you Google Austro-Hungarian Vampire, you'll find the Wikipedia page and his image, which you could just tell this guy was going to kill people. he does have an amazing mustache, but he
As
has
did everyone
murder.
back in the 1900s.
Oh Christ!
He has this damn.
Sorry, him in army uniform. Look,
Yeah,
I
him
mean,
in
he
army
looks fantastic, but
uniform.
his
But
eyes
you
are a
get
bit
the
too much like
murder
mine.
vibes, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit! That mustache. Also, like,
motherfucker.
yeah, that's the. Also, it comes up. It doesn't come up with that one. It comes up with another one as well, which is Elizabeth Balthroy.
Elizabeth Balfour is
Balfour?
another very famous serial
Yeah.
killer who I might touch on in the future, if
Because
on the
she was the Hungarian vampire queen according
Hungarian
to
vampire
Google.
queen. But we'll save that for another day because that is also a fascinatingly horrific story. Regardless, it appears Kiss was very, very picky on his victims, and he was very smart in how he went about it. The people he ended up bringing home, that obviously wasn't his wife and her lover, tended to be local women with no family who wouldn't be missed. Basically, making sure he didn't have anything to track him down. So, in a bid to stop this man from murdering anyone else, Nagy sent out word to the army for his arrest, stopping all mail to him in case he had an accomplice who could tip him off. The problem was, Bela Kiss was an incredibly common name, and nobody was quite sure what he looked like. They had the sketches, they had the descriptions, but it became very apparent that no one actually knew where he was or what happened to him. Some said he died in the Carpathian Mountain campaigns earlier in the war. Others that he was a POW. Nagy caught a potential lead when someone in and around the Serbian borders found a soldier matching the description of Kiss, who was said to be recuperating in a Serbian hospital. But Kiss was too fast. When they arrived, they found only the body of another soldier in its place. Kiss was in the wind. So this has led to a number of theories of what actually happened to Bela Kiss. And there are a surprising amount. Nagy would never catch Kiss. Like, after that potential lead, which people aren't even sure if that was actually Kiss. It could
It was
have
a different Bela Kiss. Maybe
could-
you said that was a
it
common
could have been
name.
another Bela Kiss. They don't know if it was the same guy. They don't
It could be another man with a magnificent mustache.
exactly.
Which the longer I look at this picture, the more I think that's a fake mustache.
Oh, follicles are very real, sir.
But Nagy would never catch Kiss. Over the years, Kiss was allegedly sighted in multiple countries. Not on, well, I guess he's on them if he's in them. Often, apparently, going by the name McCree or McCreary. He was apparently a burglar of houses in Romania. Others said that he died of yellow fever in Turkey. Others thought the Spanish flu got him at the end of the war. One of the most promising leads was in 1920. He was believed to have been serving in the French Foreign Legion under the assumed name Hoffman, which was one of his popular aliases that he used to use in the letters of correspondence. This man would often boast of his skills with a garrote. The authorities soon arrived, but Hoffman had deserted before they turned up.
Yeah.
So, still no dice.
Why'd you go around boasting about your garroting skills?
Oh, is there something you want to say?
No.
Like, if I was a known serial killer, I would not boast about my garroting skills.
And you would probably last longer than most serial killers.
Bloody dogs.
Bela Kiss's total body count is unknown. It's thought that he's murdered probably over 30 people.
I'm assuming that's before he went to war.
That was probably... That's definitely 24 people before he went to war. I couldn't find anything on his first wife, so people think he might have murdered her as well. Also, they don't know if he did survive the war, if he murdered more people afterwards. There's been quite a lot of media written about him. There's been, I think, at least four or five songs. There's been a play, a book, and a movie. Regardless, people are pretty sure Kiss probably didn't survive the war, most likely getting killed on the front lines, because especially the Italian front was incredibly brutal. Like, a lot of people talk about the Western Front and the Somme and Verdun, and yeah, that was really bad, but the amount of people that died on the Italian front and the Russian front ridiculous.
Well, the amount
Well,
of
I mean-
artillery in those mountains, if
Yeah.
an artillery shell goes off those mountains, it's just like shards of rock hitting you. That killed so
Exactly,
many
yeah.
people.
You had to
That was
worry
so
about
painful.
shards of, like, because it was like slate, like kind of material, so
Yeah.
shrapnel when it got
There's a reason why more like almost First World War had some like armored people in it.
Yeah.
Basically, they basically thought, screw this, I'm making a helmet. Like, fair enough, I understand that.
Most people think he never really left the Balkan area or that kind of area, and he probably died in the war. Except in 1932, New York homicide detective Henry Oswald saw a man matching Kiss's description in Times Square tube station. After some digging, he found out the man worked as a local janitor. After alerting the authorities, they went to interview the janitor, but the janitor was gone.
Dun dun dun. It's moments like these we need a soundboard.
I'll get on that.
And that is the story of the Austro-Hungarian vampire, or as I nicknamed him, the Pickler.
Yeah.
God, I hope your names are better in your books.
Yeah. No, I've heard of him before. He's an interesting character.
Slightly more cheery than true crime murder.
Well, do I? That's the ultimate question. Let me stretch as all my bones click into place.
You shouldn't sleep in
I
that
see-
coffin, it's too small for you.
What can I say? It's for someone of roughly 5'7", and I'm 6 foot. So,
Just a little short.
is it what?
Just a little short.
Just a bit. Anyway, where was I? I hadn't started. That's a good omen. As I said at the end of last episode, Fiction Week, disclaimer. They won't be airing out of order. I don't know why I feel the need to disclaim.
No, you
that.
can just
It
say
was
last
like-
week, that's the thing, we're fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a breath and calm down?
Do I want to what?
Take a breath. Gather your thoughts.
Okay.
Just sucks up everything on the desk like Kirby.
Ooh!
That would involve eating 2 TV remotes, a calculator, a set of dice, and my beanie. As well as several other
Is that your
biscuits.
backup? Oh, no, I was thinking.
Beanie.
I mean, yes.
Emergency beanie.
It's my fabled one from University, Matt.
Fable beanie.
Yeah. Anyway, as stated at the end of last Fiction Week, I am here today to teach y'all a lesson. Or several.
No, Father.
Please get rid of the bundle of sticks. I promise to be good.
No, you will learn about Japanese schoolgirls and you will like it.
Okay.
Nanny.
Nani the fuck? It's my favorite bad like English spliced in with Japanese, along with choto fucking mate, which just means wait a fucking minute. Anyway, yes, as I've said, I am here today to talk to you about the different stereotypes you will find in anime in general, because I realized
no.
going through the last 4-ish fiction episodes, I use terms that either these 3 don't get or people at home won't get, so I thought I'm gonna start up a fucking glossary.
It's the back of the Weeb dictionary.
It
Oh,
is.
no.
So welcome to Weeb Dictionary with Professor Corby.
I know more than these two, but I'm still going
It's
to
a
suffer.
weeb week.
It really. Anyway, let us start with the most common stereotype you will find in Japanese anime: the tsundere.
Those could be shonen. Alright, fair enough.
I mean, like, these are mostly like character stereotypes as opposed to.
Right.
Shonen is just like a general term for, like, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's
I
fine.
mean,
Genre or
to me, shonen is like the male-centered comic thing that comes out every month.
Pretty much.
/ week. Shonen Jump, but read Chainsaw Man. Disclaimer. Anyway, as I was saying, the tsundere, the most popular of goddamn Japanese stereotypes. If you've seen an anime, there's a chance that there's a tsundere in it. Tsunderes are... before I lead off, most of the stereotypes I will talk about today, like 90% of them are depicted as girls, however, they are gender neutral.
Gender neutral, interchangeable.
Yeah. There are boys with these stereotypes, and tsunderes I mean, they're less common because I don't know.
It's stereotypes sometimes come with like stereotyping of what sex it is, as opposed to just
Yeah.
qualities
Even-
of said stereotype.
Also, let's face it, there's a lot more male protagonists than female.
True.
Yeah.
Unless you get one of them reverse harems in the rare occasion, but anyway,
I think I've seen that tab.
it's Fruits Basket. Don't know what you're on about.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, the tsundere. These are people that they either act like normally what happens is like a protagonist will come across one of these characters and they'll normally do something fucking insulting or find them doing something compromising, and therefore they will either more often than not verbally abuse them, although there have been cases where tsunderes are known to punch people.
What, you're making it sound like a cryptid?
There have been reported incidents.
There have been reported incidents of not kunderes, they're next on the list. Tsunderes being violent. Most of the time, go on.
I think I actually know vaguely some characters that fall into this.
I'm taking questions, so
How is Hermione a tsundere?
because it's more like the fact that it's like they like a lot of the time they like put people down or like try and assert their dominance.
See,
There is a different stereotype. Yeah. Okay, so if I read verbatim from the wiki that I'm reading on, which is thederetypes.fandom.com, tsundere, a stock love interest who is usually stern, cold, or hostile to the person they like, while occasionally letting slip the warm and loving feelings hidden inside due to being shy, nervous, insecure, or simply unable to help acting badly in front of the person they like.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
I now understand.
So it's
Yeah.
most of the time tsunderes are born from confusion.
Oh, okay. So initial misunderstanding leads to tsundere.
Yes. So, as I say, normally it's like there's incidents that happen. It's like, oh, you discovered something about me. Like,
You've discovered I'm a shrimp farmer. How dare you? Nobody must know that I farm shrimps.
well, if I were to talk about this in terms of actual like tsunderes that exist, most people will know the main tsundere that exists is the main girl from a show called Toradora, which I don't know if anyone on this.
I've heard of it.
No.
It was one of the first few animes that I watched, and while I will admit the main girl Tiger is overbearing because she's one of the aggressive tsunderes.
Oh god, they're subcategories.
Well, I mean, like as I say, like some of them they just like try and put you down. Some of them they just like talk shit about you, and then some of them are just violent. They like just give you a good roundhouse or punch in the stomach.
But there is the classic, it's not as if I like you or anything, back up, or whatever the hell nonsense
Oh
isn't
yeah,
there?
you can identify tsundere by their common catchphrase. It's not like I like you or anything, but Barker.
Uh,
Oh my god, that explains so many memes.
Disclaimer: Japanese. Barker is Japanese for idiot,
yeah.
or like around there ish. It's like a a not very offensive insult.
Casual insult.
Sup, dumbass?
Like calling someone like stupid or idiot or. And most of the time born from a protagonist that can't fucking read a mood. Anyway, as I've said, I went through and I found some examples for people that may or may not know, for shows that people may or may not have seen, and as I say, some possible ones in other
Anime
media.
and non-anime.
Yeah, so as I've said, there's the main girl Tiger from Toradora. She is arguably the poster child of tsundereism. The first, in air quotes, the first known case of like tsunderes as we know them today was Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion. So the pissed off redhead one from memory. As I say, there has been male in the cases. As I've said, if you've watched Fruits Basket, Kyo is technically a male tsundere from there.
Yeah.
Like, not the white-haired one, the other one that the girl lives with.
Yeah.
I wonder if you don't get more of male tsunderes because it is essentially would that qualify more into abuse? I mean, obviously, it's abuse on both sides if you were to look at it that way, but would it be have a much poorer reception if it was a man doing it?
Probably, because like when I mentioned the Kyo one he fights like other people. He like fights other boys and stuff, but like he never like punches, he never like assaults women. He's just like, I don't like you kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, you don't understand me. It's like,
He's
some
an
of it is
Ed
Me at 14.
What, fighting other men and telling people they don't understand?
I don't like you.
It's-
You don't understand me. Let's fight.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch all of Fruits Basket, so I don't
I watched most of
quite
it.
know.
Yeah,
Well, you watched the original, not the remake.
I did. I
You
watched the original.
You watched it back when the manga was still airing, so they had to make up their own ending.
I only watched it like 2 years ago, but the original one. But yeah.
I was just looking on if you wanted to get into anime and want suggestions, there's a website called My Anime List, which I often abbreviate to MAL. So
Brings the wear.
for other ones. There's for people that are into the Fate franchise, there's Rin from Stay Night. And I was looking at, because some of these on here, they have ratings. And I was scrolling through, it's like, okay, what's the number one max rated tsundere or whatever? Makase Kurisu from Steins Gate, who...
Oh no!
Oh dear.
She's not even one of the violent ones. She's just like, you're a fucking idiot. You know that. It's like, yes, I do.
Do
And
you know
I'm
one they're
proud of it.
trying to stop from being shot?
No, that's Mayori.
Right.
Spoilers for Steins Gate.
Oh dear.
She's the redhead one, which dies in the first episode, and then miraculously comes back by the end of the first episode.
Where you? Spoiler alert.
Time travel.
Delayed spoiler alert.
I mean, it's the first episode, so that's literally like the hook they used to get you into Steins Gate. It's like, this girl was murdered and now she's alive. What the fuck is going on?
Thank you for
Also, I like on this list, on My Anime List, they list Vegeta
hair
as
on
a
the mic.
tsundere. They list Vegeta as a tsundere from Dragon Ball.
He probably is actually. Which means
I am the hype!
Which means Bakugo is as well. For My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Kirishima, best boy.
Now, as I scroll down this list, because I had the wiki open just for reference, and as I said to Matt and Tom before we started recording, it's like, the tsundere list of like characters that are potential tsunderes is like 2/3 of the wiki page. So that's when I say like these are popular stereotypes, like this is the most popular one.
Yeah.
arguably uncommon not to see one in an anime.
Yeah. I'm just like looking through like some of the normal and like not anime type
Normal
ones.
air quotes.
Yeah.
Non-anime.
I'd say some of these are questionable at best, because as Matt says, like I read the list and it was like it mentioned Hermione from Harry Potter, and I'm like, early on, possibly when they were like still kids. I don't know about later on. I stopped giving a shit.
I don't know. I didn't read past book 1.
I mean, I watched book 2 as a film.
I watched the book. Nothing happened.
It did. I'm gonna say I watched it. It did nothing. It ruffled in the wind a bit, but other than that,
I mean, the ruffling was excellently done.
okay, that's a decent example. Did any of y'all watch Hey Arnold as a kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like what the girl, Helga? in that?
Oh yeah.
They described
yeah.
her as a tsundere
Yeah.
because like she had. I think she had the hidden feelings. I don't know. It was
She
never on very often.
she
I
did.
believe she did, yeah.
Yeah. God, her voice
Yeah.
upsets me even now.
Yeah. That's probably why
Stop
I
thinking of
blocked
it,
out.
John.
Let's move on.
Yep. Well, as I've said, we're moving on from tsunderes. Now, arguably the next most common type of dere. This is the dere section.
Oh
You'll
God.
find
If you
milk,
want to think for
cheese,
dairy-free.
milk, cheese, and girls that love to punch you in the stomach.
It's right there next to the yogurt.
Speaking of yogurt, we have kuderes.
Oh no.
Kuderes are a stereotype where, honestly, like, ku comes from the Japanese word for, like, calm or cool or like
Right.
they are not very good at showing their emotions, and most of the time they are just like one note.
I'm guessing like Mikasa is one
Yeah, Mikasa from
from the season
Attack on
one.
Titan sort of falls into that, although she slowly like transitions into the
A
yandere
person,
phase
yeah.
down the line.
Oh yeah, no, she does actually. No. Yeah.
Awesome now.
When she starts going a bit fucking mad. But yes, that's a good example when you start off Kudere. You're like very like you have a lack of emotions, but there are very rare situations where they are known to show him.
Like there's a cool exterior.
Yeah,
And cool in the
cool,
sense
calm, and
that
collected
you're
exterior.
not cool,
yeah.
sunglasses cool, you're cool, temperature cool.
Emotionless,
probably,
cool.
Probably Todoroki from bloody Academia.
Yeah, at least when he's first introduced.
Yes, well, yes,
Yeah.
when he's first introduced.
And only on one side of him. He's very cool.
The other side, he's quite warm,
Oh.
but he doesn't
I
like
don't
that
know
side.
what you're talking about.
He's a guy with fire and ice powers. But...
Okay.
As Bakugo often calls him, the half and half bastard.
I do like
Which is-
Bakugo. I know people don't like him, but I do like him.
I mean, I understand why people don't. Anyway, as I said, other examples other than Mikasa, going back to Evangelion, where most of these stereotypes were like first thing, it's the other girl, Rey.
Oh, her, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Ray.
Not to be confused with Star Wars, right?
And I guess Tsundere would be the other one.
Romano from
Yeah,
Everybody Loves
Tsundere
Raymond.
is Sak.
Yes,
What's
not
her
Ray,
name?
not Ray
Yeah, yeah.
Romano.
Ray Romano.
Would Revy from Black Lagoon fall in this category?
Hold on, let me
I'm-
just control F, because these lists are too fucking big.
I reckon she's angry enough to be more Tsundere, to be honest, but that's just...
Black Lagoon is not listed under the Kudere list.
Lagoon's quite a recent one, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
No,
I
not
don't know
really.
how long the manga's been out.
Black Lagoon came out a while ago. As
Yeah,
I want to
it
say
is.
2014.
I just
Black
assumed it was new.
No,
to
it's
the top
before
of the
that. It's before that. Black Lagoon
It was-
2006.
list.
Oh,
shit.
well before that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, that was like the new seasons and like movies and stuff. It's an old anime.
Right, okay.
I might be thinking of when I started watching it.
Oh. I'm pretty sure it didn't exist before 2014, which is when I looked at it.
Things don't exist until I see them.
Nothing exists till I see it.
I never learned object permanence.
Wow,
Oh.
that's
Well, object permanence implies it stops existing when you stop looking at it.
Sorry, I just had to laugh at something real quick just to go back to what I was on about. You know how I mentioned there's the anime Hetalia Axis Powers,
Yeah.
No.
which is it was the one where I told you like the countries were like anime characters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm just scrolling through this list of kuderes and I see like Hetalia, Sweden.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sweden is a kudere. All of Sweden.
And thus the Swedish listeners have gone.
I mean, the Swedes are cool. Let's be real.
Swedes are great.
Yeah.
They're
People, not
they
the
have good
vegetables.
metal.
I mean, they're not doing great at the moment, but yeah, they're doing good.
No one's doing great at the moment.
Maybe
Japan's
Japan's on
alright.
fire.
Other examples I can find on here, Seven Deadly Sins is a fairly well-known one. So if you've seen that,
Yeah.
there's Gotha. He
Oh,
classes
of
as a
course.
kudere.
Yeah, because he just doesn't. Yeah,
He gives no shits,
he really doesn't.
and I still don't know whether he's a man or a woman.
Yes.
Which is the best
Kaiba qualify as a kudere.
No, Kaiba is just more like an asshole.
Yeah. No, he's not a kudere. He's just a dick.
He's just
Yeah, he might fit into tsundere territory, but I don't know.
Here's in Yugi's forbidden romance.
Third
I
rate
saw
using Judas for a
Academia and I'm
fourth rate
like-
deck backer.
I saw the word academia and I'm like, I don't recognize these characters from My Hero. It's because it's from Little Witch Academia instead.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
All three.
Moving on again from the kudere, I feel like I'm doing really badly explained. Also, by the way, there will be a test in 2 weeks' time. Take notes, gentlemen. There's a reason I'm not neglecting to mention any of the characters from one specific series. We have.
Oh, is he
moving
doing,
on,
you doing Evangelion?
No, I have mentioned Eva. I'm not mentioning any of the Data Live cast for a reason.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. No,
Data Live is coming.
help. I
Anyway,
have my mic in my mouth.
moving on, we have. arguably these are more common than kuderes, but kuderes just get more love than these. They are the dere.
What?
Dere,
Oh, wow.
D-E-R-E, dere.
Very.
These are defined by their normally overly sweet and enthusiastic natures.
Oh, yeah.
So these are like your typical...
Slaughtered.
These are like your typical, like, if you watch harem shows, these are like your typical, like, old best friend from many years ago.
Penny from Big Top Burgers.
Yeah. I say they often show their affection to like their main characters, but like sometimes in a romantic way, sometimes not, and it just causes a lot of confusion. And
Like,
often leads to them being assaulted by other girls because of these girls. These girls are gateway drugs to let tsunderes punch you in the face. Disclaimer: these, as I said, these may manifest in either your old childhood best friend or sometimes your little sister. Disclaimer: don't fuck your sister.
Thank you, Tom.
Good
I'm
to
going
have that
to
disclaimer there.
clarify that.
We did need that.
Look, it's a problem in anime. Have you heard of Eromanga Sensei?
No, and I shan't anymore. My headphones
Good.
are being removed.
Why is this laid out in a different fucking way to everything else? This annoys me to no end. Anyway, these are less showed in like dating games, dating sims, I guess. But these are more in like, I find these are more in like moe shows where it's just like cute girls doing cute things. Because most of the listings are like girls, most of the girls from Love Live or like Bang Dream, which one's about girls in idols and one's about girls in a band.
I do like how you keep dropping terms, Tom, that I have no idea what they mean, because you just said they're known for Maui shows, and I'm like, what the fuck's a Maui show?
Moe?
Moe show.
Moe's... Shut up, Travis. Moe is literally just a Japanese word. It's literally translates to like cute.
Yeah, it's
Right,
just,
okay. So cutesy shows.
Yeah, so moe shows are literally most of the times cute girls doing cute things.
Right, okay.
Key examples, like the one that kind of invented the genre was K-On, which was just in was like, these are girls joining a light music band, and 90% of the time they sat around and drank tea and just chatted shit with each other. And very occasionally they would play their instruments. But if there's, as I say, if I'm anything you never know, please feel free to stop me. I will explain to the best of my ability. Anyway, as I was saying, back to the dere. There was a section on here that was from My Hero Acca. It had some of the characters, and I'm not even sure if
definitely Ochiko would be.
Yeah, the big one they pointed is Uraraka. Is that how I pronounce her surname?
I think so.
Yeah.
Uraraka?
Gravity Girl.
Yeah, that's the one.
If all else fails, use their hero name.
What is that hero name? Like G-Ravity or something like
Yeah.
that? It's okay. Yeah,
Good thing it's not depravity.
Which is nothing compared to King Explosion Bomb.
Wow.
Lord Explosion Murder. Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
Lord Explosion.
No, they got asked to.
Explosion Murder.
They got asked to come up with their own hero names, and that was the guy with explosion powers. He was angry all the time. Go back and go. He just went, Lord Explosion Murder. Then no, get to another one.
Do another one, said his dominatrix teacher.
Yes, there is a dominatrix.
Speaking of like My Hero Acca, they've put Midoriya in this category, and I'm not sure I agree with that. But the one I definitely agree with is Mina, which is the pink girl.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Like she's got this vibe all over.
I can kind of understand why they
probably
put Midoriya in there.
Probably the Invisible Girl too.
Oh
That's
yeah.
not Kirishima, is it?
Kirishima, no, he's the
He's the red hair spiky boy.
he's best boy.
Oh yeah, well they put him on this list as well of Deres.
He is very enthusiastic, to be fair.
Even if his superpower is just harden.
Yes.
The invisible, I think, girl is called Hagakura.
That sounds right. I know. Yeah, but yep.
She's not on any of these lists, so according to the stereotype, she doesn't exist. Although I would definitely put her in the Deri category. A couple other examples for people out there. If you've seen Fairy Tale, like the cute little character thing,
The little cat.
the fact that Happy they call it, I think.
Yeah. Didn't
I
he
hate
have
that
an
that's
egg?
his name, but they put him under Deri categories.
Yeah.
Speaking of K-On, they've got Tainaka. I'm trying to remember which one Tainaka is. Hold on.
I could feel Matt breaking.
Yeah, that's
It's
just what he
like-
does when I go on. Oh,
Anime.
okay, she's the drummer from K-On. Cool. Which is disappointing because there's like of my drummers, like I don't want them to be
I'm
Deris.
feeling the vibes of all our non-anime listeners.
I mean,
I'm
like I'm hoping.
like, what is going on?
Well, it's just like to prepare you for when I talk about other things in the future. If you want me to move on to a different category, I can. I've got I've got 2 more and possibly a third if I want to. If people feel like it.
Yeah, let's do
So-
2 more, and we'll see if we
Okay.
got the third one.
I'll leave the Sado Deri off for the time. Oh well, yeah,
Is that-
Sados and Nyanza.
Oh,
I
God.
can leave.
Jesus.
I'll do those as one.
Okay.
So I want to talk about Danderes.
The yandere is called Dan.
I thought it was just a dad.
If anything, they are more like they are closely similar to Kuderes, except where Kuderes are emotionally cold and sort of like distant. Danderes are distant for the reason that it's like they're like shy and quiet and never know what to say. So like if they're just not very good at socializing because I feel like
Cause of relation from everyone.
yeah. Well, it's like people don't like socializing. A good number of anime fans. Speaking for them, I don't know. I know some of them will be like, yeah, that's relatable. It's like I don't know how do I like approach and talk to people, and then like how do I maintain a good conversation? Without
50 foot staring out the window.
Well, it's because I consider myself an extrovert, so it's just like this feels like okay, it's just not my thing. Just
I can talk to anyone with ears.
I like talking to people.
I've gone down to the list of like characters, and like 3 of them are from Clanad, and I've not watched Clanad yet, so I can't comment.
No.
I bought the VN though, so I'm prepared to cry.
God. I have emotionally prepared myself.
You joke. Speaking of other things, but for examples of Danderes and being like embarrassed and not knowing what to say, it's technically like the Rika from last episode's Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions. She is classed as one of these, although she does have Chunibyo tendencies, but they are more for the fact that she doesn't know how to socialize. More girls from a certain magical index, which I've not watched. New game, which is not a thing most people have seen. God damn it. Is there any...
Where are the relatable ones?
Where are the mainstreams?
Give the
I'm
kids
looking
some
for
of them. Give them the
I'm
the
looking for
Narutos.
My Hero
The kids
Acca,
love the
okay?
Narutos.
I'm looking for My Hero Acca, okay?
You anime nerds with your Narutos and your Vegetas and your Dragon Ball
The
Zs.
kids love the One Piece.
Hagakure
Gotta
could
get
also
it.
fit into that because she is completely invisible, so
That is true. But
is often
she
in
does...
conversations and no one knows.
I know, but that's not her fault. How do I pronounce that? How do I pronounce? Is it Amajiki?
Probably.
Takumi Amajiki from Boku no Hero Academia. I don't know which character this is. Give me a minute. Give me a minute while
Oh,
I
is
Ring
it?
the bell.
It's probably the guy who talks to animals.
No, that's Cody.
Oh,
Cody Coda.
does he count? He's really
Let me
bloody shy.
find you his like hero name, and I will see.
Fucking King
Is
from One Punch Man.
Is a Magiki Sun Eater?
Yes, he is. He's Sun Eater.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, fair.
I'm like googling some of these. They've also put Midori. Why does Midori fit on
Oh,
every
yeah, that
fucking
makes
list?
sense.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Brutal, we gotta get him in.
For
And they've also
context,
put
Matt, Sun Eater has powers of whatever he eats. So basically, if he has calamari, he can make tentacles of his arms and fight
He
with them.
doesn't just make really good calamari.
No.
Uh,
They've also put
he's got pretty cool
Koji
powers.
Koda on here from Boko. So
Oh yeah, Code. Yeah, told you. And as I said, King from One Punch Man, who just wants to go and play
Who's the
games.
One Punch again?
He's the guy who everyone thinks is the best hero in the world. He's got the scars in his face and everything. Really
Yes.
big buff guy, but he actually has no powers, and he's just spoiler. And he actually has no powers. He just wants to go home and play video games.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
And everyone thinks, oh, you can hear the King engine powering up. It's just his heartbeat because he's going fucking. He's terrified. And like all years from now, the King engine, and people hear his heart go. Oh shit, I'm terrified. I better surrender now. And that's just how he's a superhero now. It's really
he's a
bad.
superhero by having a heart attack.
Basically, they explained the fact he's only the number one because everyone who's like he's been a proper fight with, he's basically Saitama's kicked the shit out of them, and he's been in the background, and people just assume it's him because Saitama's fucked off, and he's just there, like, oh, you sir, you did this, just, and that's happened like 5 or 6 times in over the history of his life. It's bad. So that's that.
And speaking of bad, you've brought me on to my final ones. The Yandere.
Oh, dear.
Yes, I am familiar with these.
A Yandere was best described by YouTuber Mother's Basement. A Yandere is like a hurricane. Calm and tranquil when you're at the center of her world, and violent and destructive if you try to leave. Or if you...
That's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's a good...
So yanderes are like, they are basically like, as stated, they are people that's like, you are my one and I will do anything in my power to protect you.
Yeah.
They are, most of them are borderline well, some of them are borderline, some of them are just flat out psychopaths.
Yeah, well, for instance, they're popularized by the yet to be finished Yandere simulator, which has been.
Oh god, yeah.
That's not finished. That's been kicking around for
Yeah,
years.
the developers have said it's never going to be finished now, I think. So.
There's actually a Twitter account out there when it's like, this has happened before Yandere Simulator finished development. But yeah, popularized, as John said, by the game Yandere Simulator, which, let's be honest, never been made, or at least not by the original fucking guy, it ain't. Before that, it was popularized by the arguably thing that sold most people on Yandere's, the anime Mirai Nikki. Or for those of you that don't know what that means, in Japan, it's Future Diary.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Yeah.
Which is, Gasai basically put them on the map. I don't know if they existed before, but she is like the poster child of yanderes. I know another YouTuber I did, he made like a running gag where he's like, top 10 yanderes, and like 10 through 2 Gasai, and number 1 was Charles Manson. It's just like, you're not wrong, and I hate that fact.
Oh, there was that one from that bloody I can't remember what that game is where you're trying to talk to all the girls and one occasionally spoiler kills herself.
Doki Doki.
Yeah, Doki
Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, and there's the one that hacks into your bloody.
There was a yandere in that game. That was Yuri.
Yeah.
Most like dating sim games almost tend to have a yandere in them. The ones where you get to choose who you end up with at the end. Yogscast playing that tank one jumps to mind.
I mean, that is probably something born of parody of the dating sim, which, granted, like, some of the good ones have yanderes. The Data Life springs to mind, but because of Kasumi. Is it Kasumi? Kusumi? I can never remember. I should remember the name of Best Girl from that.
Kiryu Kazuma?
It's alive. Kotori, that's her name. No, it's not. That's the little sister. That's a bad mistake. Is it Kusumi? Kurumi.
That's a lie to be taken out of context.
Oh no, that's a little.
dear.
That's not
My
right.
mistake. Oh, Christ.
No, Kurumi from Data Live, which I'm name dropping that here because, as I've said, when I eventually talk about Data Live, she's my favorite. If not only because she's got fucking time travel powers, but
That does help, I guess.
because she's a yandere and she's also on the list for Sado Deres, but since I've been told I'm allowed to cut it off at yanderes, I'll have to leave it there. Basically, all you need to know about Sado Deres, they are like yanderes, but they don't kill people, they're just sadists.
Ah.
Oh, That makes sense.
That.
So
thought
they
they were
don't
just gonna
kill
be sad.
people, they just enjoy hurting other people.
that bloody the doctor out of what's it called again? Something dogs. What's it called? Bungo
Reservoir
Stray
Dogs?
Dogs. Bungo Stray Dogs.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's well, that's part of her power. She can only heal them if they're
Why
dying.
did I guess Reservoir Dogs when we're talking about anime?
Reservoir Dogs is my favorite anime. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
To be fair,
Tarantino-kun is a
Now I want to call this episode Tarantino-kun. Tarantino-kun and the Austro-Hungarian vampire.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm just glad it takes away from the windscreen joke I made. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you need to hide that deep in the files.
Berry.
Oh dear.
Resident Hole Digger, hurry up! You're the professional at this.
Oh god, I need to wipe down my tart.
Just a couple of the yanderes before I roll off. There was for those of you that know, I mentioned Anna from Shimonetta, who I don't know if Tom saw the pictures of Anna while trying to find a picture of Shimonetta for the
I did, I believe.
Oh, is Shimonetta the one with the squirt men?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be careful googling. Oh yes, the
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one
I remember
that you said
remember-
there was something wrong with and that she was incredibly thick.
well stacked, I think the term is. Anyway.
Okay, I'm googling a picture of this now. What am I googling?
Just
go-
Google Shimonetta Anna. But as I say, other yanderes are like 10. According to this, like there's the girl from Elfenlied or Elfenlied,
Oh yeah.
Lucy. It's just because like.
Oh my god, that's
He
horrifying.
does kill people.
Yep.
Ah, I hate these pictures. I regret this immediately.
Anna will torment you in your sleep, Matt.
Jesus, that's horrifying.
What? Just her
But yeah.
face, or?
Other example.
Just Google image searched it, and I wish I hadn't.
Oh, please put safe search on. I mean.
The other well-known example of a yandere is from Higurashi. Higurashi, or When They Cry, which is I haven't experienced. All I know is that I feel like everyone is in an occult secret apart from the protagonist, and they make him food where they hide needles in his food.
What? John
Sorry.
cackling in the background there.
That's only like
Reminiscing.
part 1 of Higurashi. There's like 7 parts, and then there's like When They Cry, and then there's like another section like When They Cry co-ord something, I don't know. And then there's like answers, and it's just like, when does this end? It doesn't. Anyway,
Like on forever and ever.
as I
suppose,
said, there will.
Togata would be the resident yandere for Hiroaka.
Toga? I need to Google Toga.
Oh, we're talking about the boy with the copying powers.
The girl with copying powers
Girl with the copying.
from League of Villains.
Oh, her,
Oh,
yes.
yes!
Right. Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Jeez.
how can I fucking forget
Meanwhile, in the
her?
League of Villains.
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
No, yeah, sorry,
Hiroaka.
Toga. Togata is Mirio.
That was it.
Hifumi Toga, yeah. Yeah, she is also like poster child yandere because
that she will straight up kill people. Yes.
well, I mean most yanderes do.
Yeah.
Y'all, those that haven't experienced Future Diary are in for quite the thing.
Wait, did you say diary or diarrhea?
Diary.
Because you're also in for future diarrhea. That's probably
Future diarrhea. Oh my God. Always
Consult
on the
your
horizon.
future diary to see when future diarrhea will strike.
Now.
Oh, it slipped out. I'm drowning.
Anyway, as I've said, there will be a test when I inevitably talk about Data Live. When that will be, I don't know. Like a good Japanese teacher, I'll drop a test on you when you aren't expecting it. So,
And what happens if we don't get full marks?
you have to see me after class for extra credit.
Oh God!
Oh no.
Thank God I don't have a webcam.
Where I sit you down and force you to watch everything I've spoken about so
I
far.
wonder where he's going with that. Right. Okay.
Just until you have good
Orange
taste.
star with eyes forced open.
Oh God, yeah.
Clockwork Orange it.
Oh,
Oh.
well,
I'll dig out the eye drops.
I feel educated. Thank you.
I say, I feel like that's a lie. I feel like you zoned out halfway through the
No,
lecture.
no, I was following along. It was a lot of my brain going.
To be fair, that is the noise your brain makes anyway.
Imagine that just your brain just naturally goes.
It makes it really difficult to sleep because when there's no other noise, it's all I hear.
Many psychics have quit their jobs after interacting with you.
Why does your brain mumble? I'm out.
Oh my
Why
God.
is it mumbling out a didgeridoo?
Sorry, just before we go on, I need to copy this image into the Discord for y'all to see.
Am I gonna hate it?
Yes, it's a tsundere shark.
Oh my God, I hate it.
Oh.
I saw that on my anime list, and I was just like, that is amazing, and everyone else needs to see this.
That is
It's
amazing.
got the cheek blush and everything.
It does.
Oh God. Well, I'm sure the listeners will love to see images of those going up when in the video.
Oh.
Most people,
dear.
most of the anime scene will have already seen it, but
They're not non-anime listeners. My brain is as mushed as yours currently.
It's fine. I'm gonna be a cleanser, like the tequila after the 5
Watch
tequilas
the anime
before.
from me, John.
like the turpentine after the vodka.
Yeah. Oh God, that's right. Someone has done that. Anyway, right. Right. Well, we did a lot of stuff about like mythical creatures and cryptids last week.
That was the
I'm kind of-
themed special.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'm kind of continuing a little bit on that because I'm kind of going for the bits like, okay, how does mythology interact with science, and where's the line lie?
Has
And
science gone too far?
Why shouldn't you
How does
cross
it
that?
lie?
Don't cross the line.
And has science gone too far, John?
Not yet.
Here we examine people too busy knowing that they could to think that whether they should.
Give me 3 weeks of that ethics laws and we'll see where we get. No, let's go. Anyway.
God, how did he turn the entire population of my back garden communist?
Using only a microwave.
What you need there is Soviet pollen. Anyway.
Actually, the microwave wouldn't work on ants.
Soviet
remain
pollen,
their original
also known as
alignment.
snow.
Does microwave not work on ants? What? Anyway.
They're too small
I
for the
was
waves to
making
go
a
over.
joke and passed over our heads.
Ants are small enough that they can avoid being hit by microwave beams, essentially.
What? But no. What? I feel it's a lie to get someone to put ants in a microwave and just, oh God, it's horrible.
At least the ants don't resonate.
It's like saying if you put metal in a microwave, it goes faster. Someone's going to do it, and it's going to go really badly. Anyway, right.
Don't microwave your ants.
Don't microwave ants or metal.
No. Anyway, what I'm going to be talking about today is, firstly, it's going to begin with the legend of the Ebu Gogo, which I might be getting that wrong. It's 2 words. It's an Indonesian word.
Yes. The name rings a bell.
It probably will. It's basically it's a folklore from a particular island. Matt, you may know Matt. I don't know why, but you might know little bits about this. I'll do the story whole then. I'll let you when I bring up something particular, you'll know when to comment in. But
I like
basically
having a part to play.
yeah. don't comment in right this second when I say this. These are
Okay,
legends from the island of Flores in Indonesia, of tiny hairy people who basically live in the forest and basically eat crops. Generally cause problems for the villagers. Occasionally eat people because that's what every tiny little people
When
do
you said
around
tiny,
the place. That's
when
how
you
it
said
is.
tiny hairy people that hide in the woods, my brain for some reason thought of pygmies.
Yeah, kind of. And basically, it's very weird because they got a lot of details about these particular creatures. Like they have a typically kind of mumbling kind of speech language.
Like my
Also, the
brain.
fact that
So our conversation about Cousin It at the start of the episode isn't actually that relevant.
And the
Holy
fact
shit.
Full
that.
circle.
And the fact that for some reason the women seem to have very pendulous breasts. I don't know why they focus on this, but it's brought up a
Is
pendulous.
it like a Newton's cradle?
Yes. Anyway,
I'm so sorry for that image.
but it's a very interesting kind of thing about it because people didn't give any real credit to this mythical creature at all until about 2004, because what they also found on the island. Yeah, 2000, they didn't give any credit to the myth had been there for centuries. No one gave any proper credit to it. There was no scientific interest into it until about 2004, when someone else was discovered on the island of Flores. The Homo floresiensis, the Hobbit, the tiny ancestor of not ancestor, but the tiny offshoot of humans.
You're kidding.
No, same island, and that's why. I thought you might know something about this because Island Flores.
Are you about to say hobbits are cannibals?
Well, we haven't proved that, but anyway.
Well, they have a love of all things that grow, and technically that does include themselves.
But yeah, these hominids were just over a meter tall, small brains. They think they looked roughly like this, which is kind of horrifying because it looks like someone else sitting up after like a really long night out.
Good God.
Look at those fucking bloodshot eyes.
It's like a bad sculpture of a Neanderthal.
Yeah,
Can you
but
pop
they
that
only
in
about
Discord
a
so I
meter
know how to
tall.
put it in the video?
Yeah,
first?
shove it in Discord.
Yeah,
When you arrive home at 4
I'll
and you
find it in
start
Discord
work
in a
at
bit,
5.
Yes. But they looked quite primitive as they went, but they obviously were quite advanced enough to make it to cross arduous water to get to this island in the first place.
Wait, so did they find them alive or the remains?
They found the remains. Oh no!
Right,
Jesus,
sorry, I thought for a minute there were hobbits living on an island.
No, that would have been cool, wouldn't it? No, but people were very interested suddenly because suddenly the same island that had this myth of tiny hairy people in the forest has actual scientific proof of tiny hairy people in the forest at some point in the past, and people went, "Huh," and there was and became rumors that they might have possibly survived into at least more of a modern era that the stories passed along, and they initially believed that they were still there as often as 12,000 years ago. They initially believed. But because obviously this is really surprising because I mean that was way after the modern humans came into the area, well after that. So we were worried that they gave a whole thing of like have these hobbits as they call them because the people who found them really loved Lord of the Rings.
Sure, they're hobbits and not just children.
Oh no, they're like they've found adult. They probably were only a bit over a meter tall. And
which begs the question: how small are the children?
A little under 1 meter tall.
But immediately after this, Homo floresiensis floresiensis, yeah, Homo floresiensis. I fucked it up again. And Ibu Gogo, they kind of people were fascinated with the possible correlation here.
The cryptid kind of lore into mainstream.
Yes.
Just for everyone else before John goes on, I've just done a quick conversion. 1 meter is 3'2".
Damn.
Yeah, no,
Damn.
they're little. They're small.
Like the right height to just headbutt your crotch.
Thank you, Matt. That's the perfect height for a
Yes.
Just
perfect height for head.
That's so Pratchett once said, a man with all his own teeth at head height has every fight his own way. But let's continue.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But people were saying, had locals just been like talking about myths of these creatures? Had they actually been reporting on them? That kind of thing. And the media ran with the idea. Some scientists entertained it too. The majority, I say some, the majority said no. But the
scientific theory.
Oh god, yeah, this sort of just there we are. But yes, they basically looked at these connections and try to find like how far back in time possible oral traditions even go, and try and see if there's any kind. What is the boundary between legend, myth, science, and memory? But the problem, there's like obviously the legend is extremely detailed, so that's why I'm so interested. But there are weak links to start off with from this thing. For instance, the first is that the Ibu Gogo legend is probably about 100 kilometers. It's on the same island, but 100 kilometers away from where they actually found what they call the Hobbit Cave.
I don't know if that's a weak link. They can
No, I'll go on about it. It was made by the Nage people. That's their legend. But right by the Hobbit Cave, pretty much around it, is the people known as the Mangarai, and they have got no legends like this at all. That's the thing. So that's a bit of a. You think you'd at least mention the fact
drove the hobbits off.
you think you'd at least like mention the fact there's like little people running around, but no.
They just assume they were children.
Yeah, and this is when I say 100 kilometers, that doesn't sound too far, but this is across thick jungle, treacherous mountains, some of the worst terrain on the planet.
Yeah.
And
don't get me wrong, it's still a long ass way.
Yeah. And across the archipelago, there's stories like this of like little forest people and stuff. Like there's the talk about the orang pendek, which is a short red-haired man, basically, and the particular Dutch explorer documented the orang pendek, and from the records, I'm pretty damn sure they found an orangutan. I'm pretty damn sure they just found an orangutan.
Fabled records of discovering the red-headed stepchild.
Yeah, no.
He was very unruly.
Although I just had a lovely image of just an orangutan walking up to the Dutch explorer and just say, "I'm going to orang pendek you," and just punch in the face. That was all I could think of, but listen to that story. But yeah, and
you would have probably killed the explorer if he'd punched
probably.
Orangutans are packing muscle.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a young orangutan.
Packing heat.
Haven't developed.
Orang-a-bang, he's got a gun. Anyway,
and refuses to take his medication.
It takes two to orangutango.
I like that. But yeah, while Flores has no orangutans on it, it does have plenty of macaques, so smaller monkeys.
They just found the buffest macaque they could.
But yeah, this didn't stop people expeditions stuff trying to find the Ibu Gogo, the Hobbit, all this kind of shit. And there was a crap scientific mockumentary thing that they played off as being real called The Cannibal in the Jungle, which was just the problem was they did half of it was like made up footage, and then the other half they had actual scientists talking about the Homo floresiensis discovery and just cut it in, make it sound like they were talking about real ones, like ones just out and about. It went, it was bad. I did watch it.
I really imagined it'd end up similar to like really bad King Kong films.
Oh, it was a story of like
you see on the History Channel.
Yeah, it was basically that. I think it was it was like a story about like a foreign researcher a couple of foreign researchers, one who died and cannibalized and got chucked in jail, and to find out it was the Ibu Gogo who ate him. And it's like,
we should watch that documentary and then the Priest of Bray Road documentary and see which is better.
Oh god, this one is crap, but yeah, probably not as bad as Priest of Bray Road. But yeah,
devouring palms up.
But yeah, the myth that these two were connected was carried on for quite a while, and but unfortunately, every sighting that they went to go find, they either found an empty cave or they found a macaque. Pretty much one or the other. Never both.
Damn it, the monkeys got here first again.
Damn it, you monkeys! Stop.
There's some monkey scientists in a secret monkey research.
It's like Matt's Vampire. Every time they turn up, the man's gone and it's just replaced with a monkey.
Turns out there is a theme in this.
Yeah.
People disappearing.
And the problem was the thing that really put the nail in the coffin. Then they actually found they got the proper date for the Homo floresiensis bones. It turns out it wasn't 12,000 years ago. It was about 50,000 years ago.
Oh, damn.
Where
That is
they disappeared. So it's like, okay, if they've been gone since about then.
When was
then
the Polynesian like settlement of that area?
It's Indonesia.
Indonesia, Polynesian area.
1 second, I'll find that. Just how I cut this bit.
Presumably, they'd have to have had boats to get there.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You have to. Like, well, I mean, it's around 45,000 years ago. They reckon. But yeah, because Australia was colonized, we think, about 40,000 years ago by Aborigines.
Oh, so they obviously they would have come via Indonesia.
Yeah, that is the thing.
And whatnot.
Which is why Aboriginal vocal tradition and oral myth is so interesting, because they carry those stories for almost for massive amounts of time. Yeah.
I wonder how much has changed, like in terms of every time it's been told. You know, a bit like Chinese whispers.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't call it anymore, but
I mean, yeah, it's fine. But yes, yeah, it's just a very interesting kind of take, and just trying to the fact that these two legends, this legend and this scientific fact, were so closely related. Because I mean, 100 kilometers is a distance, but it's such a small thing in like the grand scheme of things,
the whole world. Yeah.
But yes,
for
on the plus side,
it's long distance.
Yeah.
Well, they can cut across country easy enough.
But yeah, and it was.
If they got enough
this. Yeah. But this was it really got a lot of people interested in science and myth and the lines in between, which I really find great, because it's good to try and question most stuff. Some things are a bit silly, but like I don't really believe in cryptozoology, so to speak. Like 99.999% of things I think sound just dumb, but at the same point, it's always good to check. Okay, so that's my thing. Yeah,
I think once in a blue moon, a cryptid is going to turn out to be not literally the cryptid described, but some form of animal.
Well, yeah, and you find stuff like coelacanths and things hidden in the fossil record that just appear up again.
Oh yeah, because didn't coelacanth reappear in the Indian Sea?
They thought people thought coelacanths were extinct.
Something like that. It was like
it was. Yeah, we don't find them like pretty much the fossil record, and then someone pulled one up. And was like, oh, yep, big fish.
But coelacanth. It reminds me of this thing I saw recently. You might have seen this as well, John. But explorers, when they were first circumnavigating the globe and exploring the sea, used to just draw what they saw. And it turns out that when whales have sex, their penises stick out of the water and look like tentacles.
Because there's always a third one involved, basically.
For some reason, there's always a third whale involved in whale sex.
Well, because sometimes they have to kind of like help keep them together. Basically. Yeah. Like, it's a proper wingman. So
basically, explorers who have been drawing whale penises, thinking they're tentacles, and just assuming there's giant monsters underneath the sea.
Oh, there is.
I mean, to be fair,
that is 3 meters of dick.
I mean, to be fair, we have also found giant squid.
Yeah,
we have done. Yeah. That is the thing.
That is true.
So like
there's
the
no
giant
limit to how big a
monster
squid can
thing.
get.
It's just interesting because it's like how many could they possibly the legend the Ibogogo come from possibly finding bones of this particular hominid in the past? Like that's happened before with how the invention of the Cyclops is just from basically elephant skulls. It's like found this giant skull with a hole in the middle of it, Terry. Oh yeah, what's that's probably like a Cyclops, Bob. Yeah, ever heard of an elephant, Terry? No, good,
no.
Me neither. It's definitely a Cyclops.
That's the Cyclops Bob. He'll know.
Yeah, and for instance, griffin myths could become from elephant, dinosaur bones, but
and unicorns from rhinos.
Yeah, well, a lot of the things it will be going back to the Chinese whispers thing. It's going to be a lot of it comes from mistranslation. So if you're a English historian in the 1300s who is speaking to a merchant from France, who spoke to a merchant from Spain, who spoke to a merchant from Morocco, who spoke to a merchant from the African coast about elephants, that's been mistranslated into a way you can understand, essentially.
It's got an arm in its face! Yeah.
I wonder if it's a case of when you talk about them finding the bones, maybe people found the bones of the hobbits, and then obviously saw them o'clock, and like, oh my god, they're still here, run! The orangutans are packing heat! They don't have clothes!
There's that, and there's also, as the British Museum used to do, they just dug up bones and just assumed they were all from the same thing.
And they did, and they just, you just have
to
look at
assume
some
they
iguanodons
belong to them.
They've just been re-put into so many different positions over the time. You think there were like 4 legs and the thumb spike was on its face and stuff like that. Happens all the time.
That's still one of my favorite new designs for the fossil Pokemon they did. They were just like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna do what the British did. Here's 2 halves of a Pokemon that don't go together, but it's a Pokemon now.
Just a giraffe and a raccoon.
Why was I created?
I need to send you the image of these Pokemon.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really interesting, John. Like, I hadn't heard that one. I was thinking of an more specific Indonesian myths.
Yeah.
That actually does ring a bell. I think I might have read about this, but like a long time
shark.
ago. I've forgotten this. Did you forget that shark was in the chat?
I'd scrolled up specifically so I didn't have to look at it.
Yeah, I'll put in the Homo floresiensis. I finally got the hang of saying it in the Discord chat. Anyway, but yeah, that was weird. Anyway, but yeah, that's my bit of cryptozoology for the day, and mythology and how it all interacts together in an interesting way.
Oh, good God, that's just wrong. No.
When I was on about the fossil Pokemon where they just take 2
Why
halves
does
of
it look
Pokemon
like
that don't
somebody's
go together.
chopped the dinosaur in half, and it's like been living inside the dinosaur and is squeezing out?
As I say, it's literally based on the fact that we just put bones together and assumed they were from the same Pokemon, from the same dinosaur.
How do Pokemon keep looking worse year on year?
I like these designs. I'm not gonna lie, but
I do not like these designs.
I like them for what they embody.
Embodying fine.
Fair.
Visually, I don't think they're that good.
Is that Dracofish? Dracofish is my favorite one, which is the 3rd one along, which is the fish head on legs.
In its tail.
So what? Do you put together and just bring them back to life and just?
Yeah, you just give 2 fossils.
Because if so, why don't they
to
just
the person...
ask, communicate?
They just ask for 2 fossils, and you give them the 2 fossils, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna put them together for you.
Oh God,
Terrible.
Yep.
Well, that's been.
That was an interesting story, John.
Yeah, that was really
And a
good.
good report.
I
bring-
sat wishing pygmies were real.
Which brings us to the end of this month's special.
Brings us to the end of the pygmies.
At the end of the pygmies. The pygmies are all dead. The orangutans got them.
I love the idea. I don't know. Just the orang.
Taken out by the orangutans.
The orangutan.
Orangutan by the orangutan.
Oh, do people want to do their pluggables? And then, I don't know.
I normally go first, so
How
I'll
do we
let Tom
round
go
off our
first.
specials? I've forgotten.
I got funny, stupid, cryptid stuff in law.
Oh, no.
Like how last week it was just like the other time, but it was this like, hey, Bigfoot's protected in some laws, but not in Texas.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, Tom, I'll let you plug first.
Plug
All right.
yourself, Tom.
Whoa. I have a Twitter, which is at randomjock, and I have a YouTube channel, which is Tom H. Jordan. And if you want to read the comics that I've made, go to Random Jock Comics on Facebook.
The 2 below us don't actually have socials,
Nothing
so
to plug
on Twitter I am at GaiusNix. No spacing or anything in that. That's just one word.
Also spelled.
Yeah, GUIAS. There's a link in the description for both me and Tom if you ever get confused or can't be asked to look for us. Speaking of down in the description, I have a YouTube channel as well. It's also there. And I'm also on Twitch with the same thing as my Twitter handle? Yeah, it's a handle on Twitter.
Yeah.
I stream either like Persona 5, The Royal, or I was going to say tonight I'm meant to be shiny hunting, but that's no fucking good to anyone, is it? Considering this is coming out probably all in August/September.
There's no point telling people what you're doing this evening when it's going to be months later.
Yes, will be at least a minimum of a month in advance, won't it?
I still haven't found that shiny Marini, so
Yeah.
in the rare chance that I do, so anyway, as by the by.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
John, take us out to a
All right.
nice seafood dinner.
I say,
ironic.
take me out.
Take your mother to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.
You take that back.
Anyway, yeah. Well, I find funny things like cryptid stuff in law where the government seem to have actually gone, all right, people are angry enough about this, I'll put it in law. So this one's actually from Scotland, and in 2001, the Scottish government actually put a plan in place if the Loch Ness monster should ever be found, of what it like they basically take a DNA sample and then release it back into the loch, catch and release Nessie, and that's still in practice. And like 2018, they confirmed, oh yeah, no, we still got that,
Just in case.
just
Wait,
in case.
I thought you meant they'd still got Nessie's DNA.
We plan to make more Nessies, then we'll spread them to more locks. Soon
We'll have to
Mobilise
call
the
them other
Nessies.
stuff. It's going to be confusing.
soon the
Mobilise
Nessies
the
will invade
Nessies.
England, and the Scottish reconquest will begin.
But,
What's
I'll
that?
be
Tribe
fine.
that's been devoured by a giant Loch Ness monster? But it's not even in a lock.
I guess it's just a
Scientists were still preoccupied with whether or not they
monster.
could. They
It's just
forgot
a
about
fun.
whether or not they should.
Anyway, there's that.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
Good
Bye.
night, everybody.
Good night. Sweet dreams.
Goodbye.
don't let the bedbugs bite.